Yo guys, this is Nate and I'm back for another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. And today, as I've been promising for a while, I have an Undead vs. Night Elf game, and this game is quite a game. At least I thought so. I haven't looked at it since I played it, but I remember playing it. It was quite a game. So, let's go ahead and load up this game. Where the hell that is? Here it is, okay. So, the map is Glacial Thaw, and the players are me, WOA Slide as Undead versus Phoenix Chili as Night Elf. And this guy beat me a couple times before in solo. He's currently level 26, and I'm currently level 21. Undead versus Night Elf. So let's pause this game at 15 seconds on 1x speed with Fog of War on under my vision. And let's do that, yeah. So this game has all the stuff that everybody's been asking me about this matchup, I think. Kinda. We've got Beastmaster abuse, we've got item abuse, map abuse, towering, expansion, and all that great stuff. So, yeah, I think you guys will enjoy this game. Alright, so let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, so I don't even know what build I'm using in this game, but I've kind of stopped bothering with that whole Tomb of Relics thing. Against Night Elf is not quite so important and all that, but I'm basically going Fiends in every matchup at this point. And you may call me a fool for that, and you may say, Nate, why did you stop fast expanding against human and all that? But I don't know, man. I never got my nice solid dose of Fiends at the beginning of TFT. I was never a Fiend player, and so now I'm feeling the Fiends, and it feels good. So anyway, just doing my thing here and all that. I'm gonna go Death Knight first, not Crypt Lord. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why, but if not, I'm facing a Night Elf player. I'm facing a really good Night Elf player, I believe level 26, definitely knows what they're doing. That means that if I go Crypt Lord first and I go Beetles, one Wisp is going to drain his mana and kill 5 Beetles, and that is, although, yeah, it can essentially lose me the game because it gives my opponent so much experience from that. I mean, I can't even really describe it. It's brutal though if you've ever tried it, and I know I have. So I'm going Death Knight first for that coil, and I'll decide on my second hero later on. Now since this is a tavern map, I definitely have more options. I was thinking about going Pit Lord, I was thinking about going Crypt Lord, or whatever. But we'll see what my opponent gets. So you see I'm putting up a Tomb of Relics now, in lieu of going for a Fiend. And not necessarily a great choice on my part. What I've been doing more recently is simply getting that Tomb of Relics after my first Fiend instead of upgrading this to Nerubian Tower. Since I'm going with Death Knight, the Nerubian Tower isn't quite so important. And that simply means that I'll creep my first creep group, as I've said in previous commentaries, and then just go back to my base and pick up a Rod Necromancy or something. And it generally works pretty well. So I've scouted them out. Immediately I see Dual Ancient of War, Beastmaster. Oh no. But I also know that this map is pure abuse, and I've definitely seen some Night Elves playing on this. And it basically involves, let's see, turn off Fog of War. I mean, you see the 2 mercenary camps, and you see that Warrior Arachnid Nuthid level 3. And I actually left the wrong one here, but it's the one to the farthest to the north for both camps, I believe. And that drops like a level 5 item or something. And I was playing this game the other day. This guy got 2 stones of the fur ball dudes, and it was not cool at all. Let me tell you. I mean, we're talking 3 minutes into the game. He had 6 fur balls out. That was pretty damn rough, let me tell you. And I did lose that game, unfortunately. So anyway. I know that my opponent going Beastmaster is definitely going to be trying to abuse this stuff. You can see he's already gotten the item from the first shop, which was an Ankh of Reincarnation. So I'm doing my best. Of course, I'm being stupid. I attacked the wrong arachnid. Like I said, it's the one most to the north. So I should have had it right now and gotten out, but I didn't. But clearly he doesn't really have anything that can really mess with me too bad, so I'm just going to try and snag this item while I still can. So that's what I'm doing. And he's just focusing on that Fiend. Not a bad call on his part, but it doesn't look like he's going to kill it. I gotta say the Quill Beasts, well, they're definitely good, and they're good, yeah. But against Fiends, they're not that great. I think just against Undead in general, unless the Undead player goes Gargs, which many Undead players do, but if they don't go Gargs, I find those Quill Beasts to not be particularly effective. I definitely find a bear going after my hero with Bash to be much, much more punishing than the Quill Beasts. But that's his choice. I definitely see all the high-level players always going Quill Beasts first. So now here I'm just a little hesitant to go off creeping since my Death Knight's so low on health, and I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm doing something smart at least, which is that I've sent out some scouts. I need to know if he's fast expanding. That's very important. And I want to know what he's doing in his main. So that's what I'm doing here. Meanwhile, I'm just creeping a little bit. Makes sense, I think. And go into tier 2. Dum-dum-dee-dum. Now, on this map, I don't just straight up mass Fiends usually, although I never really straight up mass them. You see here, I've got my Skeleton Warrior, so I'm sending him over to the Merc Camp. I figure, hey, why not add in a couple of these Polar Furball Shaman guys, because they're fucking insane. Because they can cast Frost Armor and abolish magic. Now, in that game I was talking about before, I got slaughtered, and I actually submitted that as a replay, so it might get prepped and posted so you guys can watch that. In that game, I used my Furbolgs to abolish my opponent's Furbolgs, and it worked pretty well actually. 2 abolishes kills a Furbolg, so I did a pretty good job with that. But more importantly is that Frost Armor, because I mean you're looking at the Orc player focusing, say with Grunts, or the Night Elf player focusing. Well, I guess it doesn't work on the ranged units, but I mean in particular against Grunts though, a Grunt focusing on a Fiend, and then you know that Grunt gets slow and you pull the Fiend back, they're going can't catch up with it. With Unholy Aura. So it's really good skill in that it's auto-cast. If it wasn't auto-cast, it would be a different story, but the fact that it auto-casts on a unit getting focused is really tremendous. So yeah, I'm getting as many of those as I can, really. Not to mention, they do really good damage. I mean, looking 25 to 32, it's basically the same as a Fiend unupgraded. I mean, that's quite a unit for 3 food. I don't know, man. Seems like I should be a 4 food unit, if anything. Well, what am I talking about? They do cost more than a Fiend. I know that much. So anyway, just creeping here basically. Nothing more to say, trying to get to level 3. Now that I have level 3, creeps are going to be a bit easier. Now right here, okay, I'm like, okay, I just saw 3 wisps going to my base. Shite. What am I going to do? Now I look at my base, he's got a good 1, 2, 3... 10 Huntresses, level 3 Beastmaster, basically unkillable, and 4 Ancient Protectors going up my base. What the hell am I going to do? Well, I'm like, okay, first off, I can kill the Ancient Protectors straight away, heal up my Halls of the Dead, and just try and kill as many of those Ancient Protectors as I can. This saves me the game right here, that my Crypt Lord came out first, so that Impale is going to be absolutely invaluable here, much better than if I'd gone Pit Lord, clearly, since that Impale is going to wreck the Huntresses. Now I'm doing my best to just keep the Fiends alive. You see Frost Armor is extremely valuable here. Doing a great job just to let my stuff take more damage. And although I haven't been playing this particularly well, and he's clearly killed more units than I've killed of his, now I'm beginning to gain an advantage with Impale in particular. You see right here, beautiful Impales going off. I mean, that wasn't the best Impale really, but now I can start picking up his weak units. And that Mana Stone the Death Knight was extremely useful as well, since I can continue to coil my Fiends. Now here's my problem, is he's got 2 Ancient Protectors, but I can deal with that. I've got a Ziggurat, a Spirit Tower, thing, Ziggurat and Rubian Tower, and Halls of Dead up. So those will effectively cancel out his buildings, which he can't repair anyway. So I'm actually thinking, you know, I might be okay here. I won't be problems. I didn't have any statues, but I figure, you know what, once I get a couple statues, I should be alright. Now here he's just being careless, losing the Huntress to me. And the only real threat he's got is this Beastmaster, but he doesn't have the bear. And like I said, that bear is really, I mean, against Fiends, that bear is going to be much more effective. So here I'm just picking up as many Huntresses as I can. And now I'm like, okay, now he's being stupid. He just walked right in the middle of my base. This is a big mistake on his part. And since I've got Death Pact to keep my Death Knight alive, now I can surround and kill his Beastmaster. Which is really great for me in that he decides not to TP out. And that means I get him to waste his so he should have really TP'd out at that point. I don't know, maybe he thought he could still get away, but with the slow of the Halls of the Dead, he can't really get away from that. So there we go. I just effectively stopped that tower rush. I hope you guys followed along with that. I should have gone at half speed, but whatever. Notice also I put all my mana items on my Crypt Lord. This is basically to give him more mana because that Impale is so good in this kind of situation. But, yeah. So at this point, I really need more units. I've got my support stuff together, or I've got my beef and I've got my statues, but I don't have any fiends. So and I just lost all my ghouls. So at this point, I just want to recover, and my main concern now is not to go after my opponent and kill him because I know I don't have enough to kill him. But I'm looking to expand, and I'm looking, more importantly, to stop his expansion and not let him gain an advantage out of this whole scenario. So at this point, I'm just going to creep, I guess. Now you notice I got spikes on the Crypt Lord. Again, I did not choose beetles because knowing this guy, being level 26 and all, I'm fairly sure he would bring a couple wisps along with him to fight the Crypt Lord. And there's no reason you should be getting 5 beetles to spell at the beginning of a battle. That's just not cool. So, now I'm sending out a ghoul here to be scouting. I want to see what he's doing. See if he's expanding. And this ghoul will prove to be quite valuable. So here I'm just getting more of these Polar Furbolg Shamans. Again, they're basically as good as a Fiend. They've got the same number of hit points, but 300 mana on top of it. They're really good. I don't know what Blizzard was thinking, man. Because I can understand some mercs and stuff, but oh man, that is just one insanely good mercenary. Let me tell you. So scouting him out, I see he doesn't have an expansion. Lucky for me, really. So that means I can just keep creeping for now. And now that I saw he had that hawk and everything, although I already knew he had it, but I'll go ahead and get web. So my plan at this point is really just to regulate his expansions. I know that I have the advantage in terms of heroes, and probably in units. So if I can just keep him from expanding, I'm probably going to be in pretty good shape. Clearly we've seen that I'm able to match his micro, so I should be okay in that department. Let's just turn off Fog of War for a sec. You see, as sort of predicted, he's not getting a second hero, so that means I have a big advantage in terms of heroes. And we're looking at 2 heroes versus 1 hero, and at that we're looking at 3 levels up really on him. So I've got a big advantage in terms of heroes, not to mention my heroes can nuke his hero. So, however, if you saw, he is now expanding. But I'm going to get lucky and catch that. So I'm going to go ahead and snag Burrow for my Fiends. I always get Burrow now. I never used to get Burrow. Now I always get it. It's so invaluable in terms of keeping your Fiends alive. I can hardly stress that enough. So now I'm going up here. I figure I'll check his Expo 1 and 2. I can buy some mercenaries from up on the hill, if anything. But would you look at that? He's expanded. So lucky me. Now here, I think it's actually a bit of a mistake to use spells on wisps at this point. I always used to do it, but the fact is they only dispel 50 mana, and the amount of mana used to kill him is not always worth it, so I think I'm going to stop doing that, just for the sake of having 2 Impale instead of 1, say. So Impale here, going to be really, really good, as you can see, and however, he's definitely got a bigger army than me. I don't want to mess, so I'm just going to TP out. So not really a good move on my part to get trapped there. And let's see. Actually, armies are pretty similar, but I don't know, I just didn't want to mess, I guess. So at this point, now I'm like, okay, I know exactly how I can take out this expansion. Look at that, I've got 1,000 gold, and there's these pretty little merc camps. Let's get some mercs. So I'm getting this barbed arachnid. Here's one mercenary that is not overpowered, thank God. It's just a cheap little piercing damage unit. And I got that simply because it works so well with my fiends. It can burrow and it's got piercing damage. I can just add it to my group. It's like a mini fiend. Like this little mini fiend. Ha ha ha. Look at him. Isn't he cute? And I'm stacking a couple of these Magnetor warriors, simply to, you know, give me a little more beef. And they're also immune to magic, so that's not really a big deal at this point. But they're definitely real good meat up front. They'll definitely do well against archers. So now here we go. I'm in pretty good positioning here. Bad Impale clearly, but good in terms of micro, and that it's always good to, when you start a battle, pick one target, focus fire the target, hit it with everything, and pull back the target your opponent's focus firing, and that can be a nice little advantage to have. I always see a lot of top players doing that. They kind of focus one unit. So here we go. I've just killed like 4 huntresses. That's pretty good, and having him running is even better for me. So this is definitely looking up for me. He's got that Sea Witch just too late. Once I hit level 3 coil, it's going to be pretty much obsolete. So my only concern now that clearly I have the advantage is to keep that advantage and stop his expansion. I'm just going to finish off these creeps and get some more mercs, which I'm doing. And I'm rapidly getting a much larger army. We're talking 53 to 65 at this point. So despite the fact that he's got an expansion, I'm coming out with a huge advantage here. And I'm going to tier 3 now to go for A-bombs, but realistically that's not necessary. I mean, these Magnetor warriors are a very good substitute for them, and they don't really need a tier 3 tech form. But now, let's see, if we look at the mine, oh, he didn't get that much out of it. Those mines have very small amounts of gold. So here, I'm going after the gold mine and not the Tree of Life because I want to deny him gold, and I'm fairly sure he's going to come intercept me before I could kill the tree. Not really a great call on my part, but I figure it's worth a shot. And clearly, he's right there if you turn off Fog of War. I know he turned it back on. Now, it's always risky for him to be approaching me like this from the hill, and what I really should have done is backed up and kind of expected that, but so bad positioning on my part here. I'm kind of tanking with the Fiends, but I'm getting those Magnetor warriors out front. I'm burrowing the Fiends up front, and now if I just had Impale, this would be over in a second. Now I'm not really even focusing, I'm just letting the Fiends acquire what they want. His Beastmaster doesn't really have any big buffs on him, and so he's very easy to nuke. I mean, both his heroes are sitting right out front, so it's very easy for me to take him out. And clearly, he can't really win this at this point. Now that I have level 3 coil, I can just kill archers at free will. So he's left the game. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty nice demonstration in terms of all-around game against high-level player. How I'm currently handling the Night Elf matchups, and so many of you have been wanting to know. In terms of the larger maps, I know a lot of people have been talking about how to deal with Night Elf fast expansion. In this case, as you saw, I just kind of overwhelmed him with units. That was kind of my solution to taking out his expansion, although it wasn't a fast expansion. In terms of the big maps, I don't actually play the biggest maps, being Lost Temple, Knollwood, and Twisted Meadows. I thumbs those down in 1 versus 1. So the biggest map I'm playing on is Plunder Isle, which is still pretty easy to scout on. So I kind of know when my opponent fast expands. So that's kind of how I deal with that. So anyway, thanks for listening to this commentary, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.